everyone. So for today's soap, before we get started with the regular stuff, I wanted to show you just a few of the design elements we're going to be working with today. That way once I get started of mixing my soap, I don't have to stop and explain it. So today we are going to be doing another confetti soap. I have been on a confetti kick lately because I have accumulated a lot of soap shavings, and I just want to kind of repurpose these, use them up, and kind of create a new bar soap with these. And I love doing confetti soaps because number one, you can use up the scraps, but it also is just a really cute, fun type of design. So here I have some pink soap scraps, lavender, and some yellow ones, and I was just kind of playing with colors, and I did a little test sample of these colors together, and it just looked perfect, and I had the perfect fragrance oil to use with this as well. So for today, we are going to be using Nature's Garden Sparkling Lavender Lemonade, and I have had this for probably about a year now, and I have not used it. And when I opened this up today, I was like, oh my gosh, this is such an amazing scent. I need to use this, and I need to buy more of this because I absolutely love the scent of this. It almost smells more of like a sweet kind of sugary candy, and it just smells absolutely delicious. So I think this is definitely going to be a scent that becomes one of my core scents in my soap shop because this is so delicious. So I have already added that fragrance oil to the soap oils here, and then in my lye water solution here, I have already added my sodium lactate as always, and then I have also added a little bit of titanium dioxide in here, so it has a little bit more of a whiter, cloudy kind of color. I didn't want to add a whole lot of titanium dioxide because I want this to be more of a lighter, whiter soap, but it doesn't have to be like a bright white. It's okay if it's more of like a creamy kind of color with this soap design, so I'm not really concerned if this is like a super solid white soap. And so with all of that being said, we are ready to go. So I am going to combine my lye water solution here with my base oils. So we are going to combine the lye water solution here into the base oils. All right, and we are going to mix this to emulsion. Alright, this fragrance oil so far is behaving quite nicely, which is always good. And the color turned out quite nicely. Like I said, I'm not going for like a super stark white, but this is a really nice kind of light creamy kind of color, which is perfect. So I do want to give this just a couple minutes for the batter to kind of thicken up just a little bit. That way whenever we put these soap shreds in here, it doesn't just sink all to the bottom. So that's a little tip I love. If you're doing a confetti soap, kind of go a little bit thicker. That way everything stays suspended in the soap bar. Otherwise, once you go to pour, you'll end up with all of your confetti at the bottom. All right, this is behaving wonderfully. So I am going to go ahead and add in the soap shreds. All right, and we are gonna just kind of gently mix all of this in together. One thing I really love about doing confetti soaps, since I do not adjust my regular batch, it gives me a lot more of soap batter, so I end up making little mini loaves to kind of go along with them whenever I can. Oh, this scent is just so delicious, you guys. It almost makes me want to just eat up this batter. It smells that good. It has a very tropical, fruity, sweet kind of candy smell. Almost like a bag of gummy worms or something like that, but even better than that. Okay, so now that this has thickened up nicely, I am going to go ahead. We're just going to do a simple pour into the mold here. And I do this every single time. I always forget whenever I do a confetti soap, it's much easier if I pour sideways. That way all these clumps don't spill over the side of the soap mold. I'm gonna take my little spatula, we're gonna kind of press these down a little bit to fill out the mold all the way, and so that these are not sticking out, because I want a nice flat. All right, so I've got all my soap in there. We're gonna set that off to the side. Clean up my mess real quick. And then I'm just going to use this other little mold here. And I'm actually going to use these as little samples. So I'm just going to try to fill up one cavity here. I think this should do it. Okay, so I'm gonna set these aside and we're gonna let them set for probably several minutes. This fragrance oil is almost behaving a little too well, so I wanna make sure I give this plenty of time to set up. That way it is hard enough to hold the soap frosting that we're gonna do. So I'm just gonna give this a little bit of time and we'll come back with the soap frosting. Okay everyone, we are back. This is actually the next day. It took a little bit for the actual soap to really firm up. So this is actually about 17 hours later. And I have my soap frosting here. We just went with a light buttery colored frosting, and we're gonna go ahead and frost the top of the soap here. And my actual soap frosting here took about 45 minutes for this to firm up enough to get to a nice pipeable texture. This fragrance oil is definitely one that gives you plenty of working time, which is nice. But whenever I'm trying to do piping, I do like for it to set up a little quicker. So definitely took some time, but overall it was worth the wait because this is the perfect texture that I like to pipe with. Alright, so now that we have the piping done, I'm going to go ahead and add the little embeds. These are going to be so cute. So for our embeds today, I have just a little baby pink gumball that I'm going to do on the top, and then we're going to do these little lavender paper striped straws. Alright, so first off, I'm going to very carefully just place all of these little gumballs. Oh my gosh, and these look absolutely precious. Alright, so those are all of the little pink gumballs, and then we're just gonna put a little purple straw into each of these. Okay, and I just can't help myself. I don't normally do glitters on my soap, but this one I just feel like would look so cute. I have a yellow, a pink, and a lavender colored glitter, so I'm gonna just kind of mix up a quick little glitter mix here. And I feel like this is one where it's gonna look so cute. And I'm actually gonna lay some parchment paper down below. That's just gonna make it a lot easier whenever I need to clean up the glitter. All right, and then I'm just going to lightly tap this over the top of these soaps. I don't wanna go crazy with the glitter, but I do wanna make sure each bar gets just a little bit. All right, and here is how these soaps turned out. I think these look so adorable. I'm really happy with this. I can't wait to cut these open and see what the inside look like, but we're gonna have to wait a couple days, so we will come back when these are ready to cut. All right, guys, we are ready to cut these soap here. It's been a few days and I have already unmolded it. I can already tell this is gonna look so cute just from the side of this, but let's go ahead and cut these up into bars. All right, so I am going to place this on its side. I'm gonna make sure I put it with the straws up, that way they don't get bent. And we're gonna start by taking just a little sliver off the edge here. Oh my gosh. This is what the little end piece looks like. I'm so excited because this is exactly what I was going for. So I love whenever a soap design turns out like I have in my head. All right, and here is the first cut of the bar of soap. This is so pretty. I love this so much. We're gonna cut up all of these and then we'll come back and cut up the mini bars too. All right, so here are the adorable sparkling lavender lemonade soaps. I'm so happy with how these turned out. I think they're absolutely adorable. We are going to now cut up the little mini bars, and I'll show you how I cut up my sample soaps. Okay guys, so I have several different bars that I am going to turn into samples. So first off, the one that I have here, this is gonna be like a little mini bar. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to sell these individually because there's only 3 of them, but it could be something that I either throw in as like a deluxe freebie for someone who orders a large order. This could be something I throw in, so I haven't decided yet, but usually that's what I do with these because these are so small. I only charge like maybe $2 for these retail, but with the shape of the mold, it's not ideal for making these mini soaps. When I first got started with soap making and I wanted to make mini soaps, I have this mold and this is what it looks like, and the only thing I don't like about it is that it has an angled edge because it's supposed to be for like little mini baking breads, like a little mini banana bread or something. I think you can still find that at Hobby Lobby if you are interested in that mold, but it's not great because I don't like these little angled edges, so I want to cut them off to make them straight edges, and then I will use those cut-offs to be more little sample pieces. So just cut that little edge off, then we'll cut this little back edge off. And now we've got straight edges, and I will just cut these little soaps like normal. And these are absolutely so cute too. So they are just so fun to make. And whenever I have the extra soap batter left over, whenever I do confetti soaps, I always like to make a little mini soap if I can. So never like to waste anything. All right, and then those are the 3 little mini bar soaps. All right, so for these little end pieces, I'm just gonna cut them in half. These are just gonna be like a little soap sample, definitely enough to use and get some good uses out of, but definitely enough to see if you like the scent as well. So I'm just gonna cut up all of those little cut-off pieces into, try to do them about equal sizes so that they are at least a little bit comparable for a, you know, little sample. And then for this larger piece, I'm gonna just take these little frosting bits off because those are kind of quite hard to do. So for these, I'm gonna cut this in half. Then I'm gonna cut them in half again this way. And then those will make some good little sample sizes. So those are all the samples for the actual bar of soap from the base part. And then this is all the leftover frosting that I had. Again, I don't like to waste frosting. This is gonna be a little bit harder because there are gaps because it was piped in there. So these are gonna be a little bit funky, but you know, that's okay in my opinion. So again, I'm gonna cut off the little end pieces just to kind of square this up. And then we'll just turn these into little sample pieces as well. Then for here, I want to get the top all square, and then again, we'll make samples out of everything, but this kind of gives me a little bit of something easier to work with. All right, now I'm gonna cut this lengthwise. And whenever I'm making more like uniform sized soap samples, I try to use this mold, and then this is the kind of the formula I do to kind of keep my samples all the same size. So then I cut it in half again, like that, about like that. So now I've got 4 equal parts like that. All right, and then I cut those in half like that. And a lot of these I do just give out as freebies, so I do try to make as many as I can. So I will cut these in half again. Now these are, you know, kind of on the smaller side, but these are all just, you know, freebie giveaways. I like to always throw in something free for any orders. So even though it's not the largest sample, it's still a decent sample. You can totally get an idea of if you like the soap formula, if you like the scent of the soap. So, and I like having as many as possible to kind of give away. So these are my little soap sample formula of how I like to cut these whenever I have enough batter left over to actually make samples. I don't always have enough left over to make samples for every soap that I make, but whenever I'm doing any type of confetti soap or soap shred soap, I usually am able to make some little samples for those. So anytime I can make samples with leftover batter, I try to. All right, and for this little top, it's gonna be a little bit of an awkward kind of shape because of the piping on top since it's not smooth. Usually I sometimes try to smooth out the top of the soaps, and I forgot to do it on this one, so that's why it's a little lumpy, but hey, a soap sample is a soap sample, and these are just gonna be a little bit larger, so if you happen to get one of these wonky shaped ones, it's actually better because you're getting a little bit more in your sample. And then I'm gonna cut all of these in half as well. Again, I just like having as many as possible. All right, guys, and that's how I do all my little mini soaps and my soap samples. Again, I'm gonna let these cure for 4 to 6 weeks until they are ready to package up. If you are interested in purchasing this soap, I will have the date that it is released in my shop in the description and on screen here. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, link is below. And until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.